There once was a boy named Arjun who lived in a dusty, forgotten corner of a small town where dreams rarely stretched beyond the city limits. His father drove an old rickshaw, and his mother sold handmade snacks by the roadside. To the world, Arjun had no chance. He had no connections, no wealth, and no blueprint to success. But what he had hidden deep in his heart was a question that wouldn't let him sleep. What if I could be more? That one question became a spark, and that spark would grow into a fire that changed his life, and eventually, others. From a young age, Arjun noticed something curious. While most people around him focused on surviving, he couldn't help but imagine thriving. When his friends talked about jobs, he thought about building companies. When people said, "Be realistic," his heart whispered, "Be revolutionary." One evening, while sweeping the floor of his father's rickshaw garage, he stared at a cracked mirror on the wall. He looked himself in the eyes and said softly, "Think big." That was the first time he had ever given himself permission to dream outside his environment. Thinking big didn't change his life overnight. In fact, it made things harder. People laughed at him. They called him delusional. Teachers advised him to focus on what's practical. But Arjun didn't listen to the noise. He listened to the voice inside. He devoured books. He studied how the world worked. He learned English by watching YouTube videos and practiced speaking into an old hairbrush. Like it was a microphone, practiced speaking into an old hairbrush. Like it was a microphone. The bigger his thoughts became, the smaller his fears felt. He began to see life not as something to endure, but something to build. Then, something shifted. Arjun began to not just think big, he started to dream even bigger. He visualized himself speaking on stages. He saw himself flying to different countries, inspiring thousands, building schools in villages like his. He didn't want success just for himself. He wanted it to lift others too. He'd lie on the roof at night, staring at the stars, and imagine the life he was going to create. He didn't know how it would happen, but he knew he had to make it real. That dream became his obsession. He wrote down his vision: every single moment will build something that matters. I will inspire millions. I will be bold. His mind became a workshop where impossible ideas were shaped into tangible goals. But a dream without action is just a fantasy, and Arjun knew that. So he took the scariest step of all. He acted boldly. At 19, he left home with nothing but a backpack and a jumal. He moved to the city, worked odd jobs, and slept in internet cafes to save money. Every rejection fueled him. Every failure taught him. He sent over 200 emails to companies, asking to intern for free. Only one said yes, but that was all he needed. He showed up early, worked harder than anyone, and learned everything he could. Within 2 years, he launched his Fiest small startup, a mentorship platform for rural students. No one believed it would work, but he believed enough for everyone. He started making videos, sharing his story, talking about dreaming big and taking action. His voice cracked in the first few, his editing was messy, but his message was real, and real resonates. Slowly the views came. Then the messages. You inspired me to apply for college. I started my own business because of your video. I thought I was stuck, but you reminded me I'm not. Arjun realized that boldness isn't just about taking huge risks. It's about showing up when no one's watching. It's about taking one uncomfortable step after another, without waiting for perfection. Over time, his movement grew. He built schools. He created an app that reached 500,000 rural students. He was invited to speak in countries he once only saw on Google Maps. But the most powerful riot wasn't on stage. It was when he returned to his hometown. Standing in front of the kids from his aid school, he looked them in the eyes and said, "Your background doesn't define you. Your thinking does. Think big, dream bigger, act bold." He paused, and in that silence, you could feel it, a generation waking up to their potential. Flecka's Agun wain't special. He was simply someone who believed before he saw someone who dreamed when it was dangerous, someone who acted when it wasn't convenient. And that's what made the difference. You see, your circumstances are not your ceiling. Your limits are not your legacy. The the only thing truly holding you back is the size of your thoughts, the reach of your dreams, and the courage behind your actions. So the next time you find yourself shrinking your vision to fit your fears, remember this: think big, because your life will only rise to the level of your thinking. Dream bigger, because bold dreams have magnetic power. Act bold, because boldness changes everything. Don't wait for perfect timing. Don't wait for approval. The life you want.